Chiefs Kingdom, what's going on? Welcome in to the Tuesday live show. So happy you chose to join us here on this wonderful Win Tuesday. Although it was ugly on Sunday, it's still a Win Tuesday. And, well, we only get to focus on the win for a couple days because guess what? You got the Vikings coming up, going to Minnesota. So the first question we have to ask for everybody, who you got this week? Type KC for the Chiefs, type MIN for the Vikings. We all know who's got this one, and I want you to be spamming KC in today's chat. Let's get as many KCs here right off the bat. Everybody, just spam it, because we all know what is going to happen this weekend. We all know. Like, it's pretty obvious. A freaking 1-3 Vikings, not a chance they got a shot against the Chiefs. I want y'all all to just be spamming KC. We're going to get a lot more people running in here right away. So just everybody in the chat, let's get going. Jeff Dorn, JJ Hackett, Tony Fuentes, Paul Amos, Joseph Roberts. Oh my gosh, Chiefs fan Mahomes, Kelsey Jones. Love that name. Love it. David Smith, Lennon Ockerman. Ockerman, that's what it was. Lennon Ockerman, what's up, my guy? Joseph, what's everybody in the chat? Appreciate all you joining us. Let's go. Keep those KCs coming because we all know who's going to win this weekend. Doesn't matter if it's on the road, in Arrowhead. Either way, the Chiefs are going to get the done. McWhalen Lewis, is that how you say that? Joseph Roberts. I'm Joseph. I never got it. Well, shout out you, Joseph. We're happy you're here on the Chiefs Report. Lady D, Lennon, Ackerman, sold my fantasy week. Tough. That's tough. Shout out to you, Joseph. Tony, you're back in the chat. I love you, Tony. What's up? Well, there's also another guy we got to give a shout out to because although he was absent on Sunday, he left us hanging. I guess somebody made the decision to bring him back. Everybody, welcome in producer Sam.
I have to defend myself right off the jump.
All
here.
right.
This was not in my control. It was not my choice to be here. I happened to actually be at work very early the next day after Sunday Night Football, and my very nice bosses didn't want me running on 4 hours of sleep for that. So, this week we're right back at it. We'll be back together on Sunday as the Chiefs beat the shit out of the Vikings, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good excuse, but I guess I'll take it. Paul B says Chase versus Seeps this coming Sunday. Yeah.
You don't love the excuse. Yeah, it's not me. You have to take it up with.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you were the one that chickened out. So you were subbed. You were placed with me at first, and you asked to leave me because you hate me.
I didn't ask to leave you. There's a very clear difference here. I never asked to leave you. I just asked to not work the night game so that I could get an actual night's rest and have a good day the following day, which I did. Thank you for asking.
All right, everybody type Sam in the chat. Give Sam a warm welcome back. He'll be here all week. As we're not an F-Sam place here. That's the Raiders, and we don't like the Raiders. No, the Raiders. All right.
We're a lot cooler than the Raiders.
Yeah, a lot cooler. All right, before we get into today's live show, I got to tell you about Game Time. All right, I want to give a huge shout-out to today's show sponsor, and that is Game Time. Now, Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. You shouldn't have to worry about buying tickets to your next big event. And Game Time gives you the peace of mind when buying tickets at their best price guarantee. Game Time will take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Now, some of the cool things about Game Time, well, the last-minute ticket deals, the flash deals, the zone deals. There are deals out the wazoo with Game Time. You're always going to get the best price. And a really cool thing that you don't get from most other ticket buying apps, well, it's the little picture. You get a 360 view of your seat. You're basically getting to see exactly what you're going to see when you get to the actual event. It's a really cool feature, and it's a nice way to kind of show you exactly what you are getting when you go to that next event. Now, Game Time is obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account. Use code ChiefsChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHIEFSCHAT, Chiefs Chat for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets at the lowest price guarantee. Again, a big shout out to Game Time. Again, use Chiefs Chat for $20 off your first purchase. It's going to be the best place ever for your tickets for whatever you want. But speaking of which, what city are you watching today from? I want you to get in the chat and let me know where you're watching today's Chiefs Report live show. Spam your city. Tony Fuentes has got it going with Dallas. Keep spamming those cities. Joseph, I see you. Everybody typing Sam, too. JJ Hackett type Sam. Tony Fuentes type Sam. Everybody loves Sam.
Getting a nice little fan base here. I love it.
I know.
Shout out to everybody.
Gerald Reese from Colorado Springs. Paul Amos from Tonganoxie, Kansas. How you doing, Paul? Joseph Roberts, you made my day. Well, Joseph, you've made ours by showing up. DeVern Walker from Hayes, Kansas. Chiefs fan Mahomes Kelsey Jones from New Jersey. Hey, did you go to the game this past Sunday in New Jersey? Raja Cooper from Kansas City. Shout out to everybody. McQuaylen Lewis from Clearwater, Florida. David W. Smith, Quebec, Canada. Oh, gosh. Gatineau, I think is Gatineau, Quebec, Canada. Let me know if I got that right, David. Hector from Phoenix, Arizona. Zachary from Meridian. MS is Missouri or Mississippi? MS is Mississippi, right? Yeah, MS is Mississippi. That's what it is. Chiefs fan Mahomes. It was the first game. Oh, that's so awesome, Chiefs fan. So glad for you. Bert Rojas from PB, California, and JJ Hackett from Hillsboro, Oregon, and Jeff Dorn from Des Moines, Iowa. Well, we know we got everybody in the chat, so I have it as the pin question, but I got to know. This is the topic of today's show. Would you trade for Jonathan Taylor? He's back at practice today. The trade rumors were flowing all really preseason into the season, and the Chiefs were listed as a top contender for none other than Jonathan Taylor. Would you trade for him? He's going to be a big price, but would you trade? I want you to get in the chat and let me know. Type T for trade if you're going to trade for him. Type P for pass if you think he's not worth it and you like what you've seen from the rest of this Chiefs team without him. Paul Amos says T. Tony Fuentes is passing on him, and J.J. Hackett is also passing on him. Michael Waite from Ottawa, Iowa, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. David is passing on him. The money is the real problem with this. Chris Idle says from Ohio. Nice. What's up, Chris? Happy you are all in the chat. Tony's really passing on him. It's tough, man, because like the money overall just doesn't really work with Jonathan Taylor, especially depending on what you give up, which we'll kind of talk about a proposed trade here in just a minute. But it's really odd when you add in the fact of how good a game Isiah Pacheco had, which is what Chiefs fan just said right there. Pacheco had the game of his life. Andy Reid's going to keep developing him like a superstar. Yeah. So it's tough, man. I think overall, you just I don't know if it's really worth it with the way Pacheco played this past Sunday. It's tough. It's real tough. Brian Birch is passing, and Jeff Dorm is also passing. And then Michael P for trade, get a wide receiver somewhere else. That's also going to be a topic of this show of wide receivers, which leads us into our second question. Name a receiver you would like the Chiefs to trade for. It's kind of been a talk since the beginning game. Kadarius Toney dropping a pass and honestly really losing that game for the Chiefs. He's obviously not wide receiver one. The Chiefs don't really have one. Is there a receiver that you'd like to see the Chiefs trade for? Let me know. Get it in the chat below, as it's kind of a crazy time right now. There's a lot of receivers on the trading block, which we will talk about here again in just a minute. Is there anybody that comes to the top of your head thinking, yeah, the Chiefs should trade for that guy? Maybe T. Higgins. Maybe. I mean, it's a long shot, but the way the Vikings are playing, Justin Jefferson, go long shot there. Possibly even Marquise Brown, Jerry Jeudy. Broncos are freaking terrible. Of course, that's a divisional rival. I don't know how far you would like to see the Chiefs trade for. Let me know. There's also Mike Evans, which we've talked about a little bit throughout this season. As Tony Fuentes saying, Higgins, if the Celtics traded for Drew Holiday, Chiefs can make it work. Yeah, the Celtics didn't really have much money, but they also did trade away one of their best players, Robert Williams. So I hope the Chiefs don't have to do that and trade away somebody good like Drew Tranquill. That would kind of be the big thing. I don't want to give up too many valuable assets, because ultimately I think if you're getting a wide receiver, you're trying to boost this team. And so therefore, at that point, it's not really going to be worth it to trade away anybody that's like going to be a valuable asset in the future to get a wide receiver. It's kind of crazy. Michael, you got a good point. Cap not there. The only way that you could do it is if you trade away another guy with that cap. You work out money situation with whoever the team that is that you traded with. There's a way you could do it, but I think what we've seen from Brett Veach, the likelihood of it happening, we'll have to kind of see if that actually comes to fruition. Overall, though, we're going to explore it because it's the talk of the town. And honestly, I know everybody in this chat can kind of feel the same way as I do. The Chiefs do need a wide receiver one. They do. I mean, there's not a clear one. You could say Kelsey, but he's a tight end. He's a tight end, and there's not a clear wide receiver one. Puka Nacua, yeah, that'd be awesome. The only problem is that dude is a rookie, and the Rams are not giving him up at all. So it's tough, but, well, I kind of leave that into our second, or rather third topic here is on the back end of the show, we're going to be doing a mailbag, and well, the way to get on the show, we want to answer your questions. And so the way to do that, use hashtag Chiefs, or you can super chat to skip the line immediately, be the first one. And then we also have Sam here today, which means we have the 60-second guarantee.
We've got the 60-second guarantee. If you want to skip the quay and get on the show,
gosh,
then that's how you do it.
Stop this.
You send in a super chat.
Stop this.
Within 60 seconds, as long as Jace stops talking, whenever I tell him to stop talking, you will have quay skipped, and you will be at the front of the quay for the mailbag.
Q. It's the Q.
I'm slowly going to drive this kid crazy saying that, I think.
Oh, I'm a kid now. Oh, I see how it is. First,
you're
leave
younger,
me on
You're
Sunday.
younger than I am.
Yeah, by like 2-3 years.
All right, then you're a kid.
Okay. All right,
I think that's fair.
That's fair. Have a good day, Grandpa. All right. What you're going to get on today's show, we talked about hashtag Chiefs. We talked about your super chat question. We talked about wide receivers. We talked about trade targets. Well, we also have a Chiefs versus Vikings preview on top of that. We're going to be talking all the latest Chiefs news and rumors surrounding trade targets, along with that Chiefs and Vikings preview. And again, use hashtag Chiefs to get your question on today's show. And then if you want a super chat, you're going to move to the front of the line. It's like a fast pass. You're automatically going to be guaranteed to get on today's mailbag. And on top of which, I made this deal last Tuesday. I'll make it again. Any super chat that comes in, I'll do a lime juice shot. So I think we're going to get that going. If you want to do that, again, hashtag Chiefs. And we're going to get your question on today's show. So you can use that at any point in time, and we'll make sure to put you up. But for now, I think we're all ready. Let's try and start and maybe get into the trade targets here on the first part of this Chiefs Live. What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? My name is Jay Sanders, and you're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. Happy you chose to join us. And well, today's show, you saw it in the title, saw it in the thumbnail, it's this guy, Jonathan Taylor, and trade rumors surrounding him, whether he will go to anywhere, whether he's going to stay with the Colts and the Chiefs as a dark horse contender to possibly trade for the all-pro running back. We're going to get into this right now, and the first thing we got to talk about is why this is even a possible thing, and that's exactly what we're going to start with. Now, Jonathan Taylor has been really upset with the Colts organization to the point where he requested a trade, and honestly, he is really, really upset to the point that he may not even play with the Colts until they trade him away to another team. Let's go through this timeline and how this kind of all came about. So on July 28th, that's when Jonathan Taylor requested a trade from the Colts. Now, 2 days later, on July 30th, the Colts considered placing Taylor on the non-football injury list, which means they're not going to have to pay him. It's going to say that he had something in the offseason that came in. On August 29th, they decided to put him on the PUP list. And then today, he finally returned to practice, as we had this tweet coming out from the Indianapolis Colts saying that Jonathan Taylor will return to practice on Wednesday. Now, we talked a little bit through that timeline, but I think there's another thing that we also need to mention, and we'll get that to just a moment. But the Chiefs were reported as an interested team in Taylor. That was kind of the top story a couple days ago, that there was a report put out that these were about 6 teams that were interested. Chiefs were in that mix to the point where there was proposed trades put out by ESPN. There was a bunch of rumors floating around of what would the Chiefs trade for Jonathan Taylor. Now, the first thing I want to show you is his stats for his career, honestly. He's been in the season 3 years. Here's what he's done in those 3 seasons, and they have been really, really, really good. 2020, over 1,000 yards. 2021, over 1,000 yards. And 2021, he was an absolute beast, all-pro running back, leader in the rushing yards category, along with just an absolute beast on the field, 18 touchdowns. If you drafted him in fantasy, you were doing well in 2021. Last year had the injury bug bite, did not get over 1,000 yards. Touchdowns were a little scarce, and hasn't played at all this year just yet. But again, returned to practice, and the Chiefs reported as interested in him. I mentioned to the point that there was a proposed trade thrown out there. Well, here is that proposed trade, as the Chiefs would receive Jonathan Taylor, and in return, the Indianapolis Colts would get Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a 2024 and 2025 third-round pick. That's a pretty good deal on both sides, I have to say. The only problem with that, cap space wouldn't really hit because Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not taking up as much space as Jonathan Taylor. There would need to be some sort of movement in contracts, restructurements, which could be done by Brett Veach. We've already seen him restructure 2 contracts midseason, with, of course, the big one being Patrick Mahomes and Joe Thuney when Chris Jones got added back in. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities. But would you even want Jonathan Taylor with the way Isiah Pacheco formed? Let me know in the comments below in today's video. This is going to be the pinned comment. Would you trade for Jonathan Taylor? I want you to get in the comments right now and type T for trade and type P for pass if you don't want Jonathan Taylor. The way Isiah Pacheco played this past Sunday, maybe you don't think it's worth it to go after Jonathan Taylor. At the beginning of the season, I think it was definitely worth it. Maybe now, not so much for me, but we'll kind of have to see again. Type T for trade and type P for pass. You kind of saw my opinion in that. I don't think he's worth the money overall. The cap space isn't really there for the Chiefs. And on top of which, you have Pacheco, who just showed off how good he can be. 55 carries on the season for 270 yards, just under 5 yards average. That's pretty dang good. And 2 touchdowns, including the 48-yard touchdown against the Jets on Sunday Night Football. That really kind of, I'm going to be quite honest, without that run, Chiefs may lose that game. I mean, that's just putting it all out there right now. It's really, really tough. Man, overall, I think it's just not worth the money when you have a guy like this who's been slowly increasing that carries. It went from 8 to 12 to now 20. He's getting up there. I like what I've seen from Pacheco. Hopefully, the Chiefs make the smart decision and don't waste money. All right, make sure you're subscribed to the Chiefs Report. We're going to have every single Chiefs news, rumors, update, injury reports, watch parties, everything and more all in one place. Subscribe today. Be a part of the Chiefs Report community, youtube.com/ChiefsTV, or you can press that little red subscribe button below on the right-hand part of your Chiefs should target. Now, here are those 4. T. Higgins in Cincinnati. At the beginning of the season, I don't think this was going to be a shot that T. Higgins was going to go to the Chiefs. But the Bengals are bad. I'm putting it right out there. The Bengals are bad. Joe Burrow has looked terrible, and they're 1-3. I think it's time that they could start looking at it. They've also shown that the future with T. Higgins in Cincinnati is not exactly the way that both of them envision. T wants to stay. He wants a lot of money. Bengals, they've already said, we don't know what the future is with you. Marquise Brown in Arizona. Fast guy. Arizona's obviously tanking. Could get a trade there. Jerry Jeudy, same situation. Broncos are not doing well. And then in Denver, he's been pretty good with the deep routes, on again, off again. Then the last one, I'm going to dive into him a little bit here as just kind of saying Claypool, well, he may be released. That may be not even trade. It may be a free guy. But there are 2 guys that do catch my eye on this list that you could trade for. Now, the 2 guys, well, they were the ones in the middle. But before we get to that, I want you to talk about, we're going to talk about Game Time, as Game Time is the easiest way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. And you shouldn't have to worry about buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time will give you the peace of mind when buying tickets, and their best price guarantee, they take the guesswork out of buying tickets. There's easy ways to find tickets and buy in every single kind of event in your area. Plus, one of the cool things is you're going to get a little picture of your seat, basically like a 360 view, where you're almost going to get to kind of envision what exactly you're getting on the Game Time app. There's obviously a really cool idea with that, and it's something that you're not going to get anywhere else. You're going to take the frustration out of buying it with Game Time. 2 clicks is all it takes, and you're going to get the tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChiefsChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHIEFSCHAT for $20 off your first purchase. Chiefs Chat. Again, download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets at the lowest price guarantee. All right, I hinted to what exactly those two wide receivers are, let's go to their stats for the past 2 seasons. Jerry Jeudy and Marquise Brown. These are the guys that caught my eye, and, well, what do you know? They kind of have similar stats. Receptions, exactly the same. More yardage for Jeudy because he's more of a downfield reception guy. He's going to go for the deep ball rather than more under routes, which also leads to more touchdowns. As you can see, he has 3 more than Marquise Brown. The average, a little bit more for Jeudy than Marquise as well. But overall, I kind of like both these options for the Chiefs and the way they fit in. It's really, really nice. But I got to ask the question to you because I listed 4 and I listed 2 right there that I think would be good fits. What's the receiver you would want to trade for? Is it one of those 4? Is it maybe somebody that I didn't list? I want you to get in the comments of today's video and let me know if there's a receiver that you would like the Chiefs to trade for. You're going to have time with that silly YouTube ad break. So go down and put a receiver right now as who would you like to have on the Chiefs? All right, both guys have speed with Marquise Brown and Jerry Jeudy, as those are the 2 that I'm going to focus on because I think those are the 2 most likely options. And let's just say speed has been a killing factor with the Chiefs team in recent history with Tyreek Hill. I'm not going to say that Marquise Brown and Jerry Jeudy are Tyreek Hill. Not anyway. That's not going to happen. There's only one Tyreek Hill. There's only one cheetah. He's with the Dolphins now. But it's very obvious that Patrick Mahomes can chuck it. And if you get a guy like Jerry Jeudy who can just absolutely blow by guys, along with Marquise Brown, who are also both good route runners, man, that could be a real devastating blow for the rest of the NFL because guess what? We've seen what Patrick can do with some receivers that maybe aren't fast. We've seen what he can do with some receivers that are fast. I'd really like to see what he could do with Jerry Jeudy or Marquise Brown. Hopefully, a trade is made. I'd kind of like to see it. Both those guys are pretty cheap. They'd fit in the cap space just barely if you kind of finagle some things and trade away the right pieces. All right, well, we appreciate every single one of you watching. And if you made it to the end of the video, well, I want you to let me know. Type real one in the chat. We're going to be responding to everybody who types it after today's video. We really appreciate you, and I'm so glad you made it to the end of the video. Let me know below if you made it. Type real one, and we will see you in the next Chiefs Report. All right, let me know, chat. Would you trade for Jonathan Taylor? Let me know, because I got to be honest, the money is not necessarily there. But, boy, oh boy, that would be nice. Trey King's the real one. Cole Kellner, what's up, guys? Brad Richardson and Chiefs fan Mahomes. Kelsey. When Cooper Kupp would be healthy, Cooper Kupp will play, but he's not going to be traded. Especially with the way the Rams are playing right now. They look pretty good, to be honest. Past Pacheco, rising star. Yeah, Pacheco is honestly like, I compare him to Kareem Hunt in some ways. I know it's a big comparison, but in overall, he has the speed. He's got the kind of size. And the big thing, he has the muscle definition. If you watched yesterday's show, we talked about the comparison of Isiah Pacheco to Marshawn Lynch. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. Well, do it after the live show, though. But either way, it's he has drawn comparisons from some pretty good guys. I don't know if I'm really willing to trade for Jonathan Taylor when I have a guy like that I'm building from the ground up. He's only in his 2nd year out of Rutgers. He was a surprise guy last year. Now he's the lead back, and he's looked absolutely incredible. I'm kind of with pretty much everybody in the chat right now with passing here. Chiefs and Mahomes, those are actually 2 interesting wide receivers you put out there. The big problem is they're not exactly in a trade scenario just yet. Now those two teams, the Colts and the Commanders, both could be trading guys in the end of the season. I just don't know about now. Michael Pittman will be good. Curtis Samuel will both be good. But, man, we have the Raging Bull. Don't need Taylor. I like that, Terry Custer. We got Pop. That's what we got. We got Pop. And he has Pop. His name is Pop. And he gives Pops to everybody that he hits. That boy is a hard-nosed running back, just like Sam. Sam's a big hard-nosed running back guy.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. I do have Pop. I do have Pop. Although it's called soda down here.
I wasn't talking about that. But all right.
That's my dad joke for the day.
I forgot. Yeah, that's right. Your name is Grandpa. So if I'm a kid, you're a grandpa. So we'll go with that. All right. Well, we kind of talked about it at the beginning of the show, but again, use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get your question answered on the live show today. Again, hashtag Chiefs. You can put in any question, whatever you want us to talk about. We're going to answer it. If you have trade rumors, if you have an opinion, I don't even care. If you want to just talk to me, use hashtag Chiefs. It's the only way we can put your question up. Make sure you use hashtag Chiefs. Sam?
No, I was about to contribute on the next question. I was really excited for this one.
Oh, you're excited for the next question. My bad.
But we do also only have a handful of questions. So if you use hashtag Chiefs, there's a much better chance you'll get on the show. If you super chat and skip the Quay, I guarantee you'll get on the show.
If you don't use Quay, I'm going to freaking put you on the show automatically. Golly. All right. Again, hashtag Chiefs, or you can super chat to guarantee your question will be answered on live. Hashtag Chiefs, and we're going to answer whatever you want on today's mailbag. Well, Sam alluded to it. Let's go to it. What's a wide receiver you would like the Chiefs to trade for? Because we talked about a lot in that show. We talked about a lot kind of here on the chat. I kind of like Chiefs fan Mahomes Kelsey's little Curtis Samuel, Michael Pittman little too. Those might be nice in the future. I don't know about now, but
can I propose a name?
Is it going to be from Oklahoma?
No.
Okay.
No. We talked about Chase Claypool in Chicago, and I saw someone else say it in the chat, so whoever it was. But Darnell Mooney, I think, is a better player. B, I think that he'd be more likely to be traded than Claypool because he actually has value. Correct. Like Chase Claypool is, I think teams are realizing he's not exactly the best guy to have in a locker room.
ESPN reported this morning that Claypool is probably going to get cut, and one of the first teams on the list that would be up for grabbing him was reported as the Chiefs.
I mean, to be fair,
it's not bad, but like
I think to be fair, I think it makes sense from the standpoint of like. They've also had guys like Tyreek Hill got into his fair bit of trouble in college. Kadarius Toney isn't exactly exactly the Cinderella of the ball or anything. Like these guys have had issues in the past, but you bring them into the right atmosphere, the right culture with Andy Reid, and it all seems to work out. Maybe that makes sense with Claypool, but at the same time, I think in a receiver room that truly needs like a standout number one, Claypool is just another body in the mix. Like he's just another. In my eyes, he kind of feels like, I think this is a discredit because I think MVS is better, but he's like another MVS where like he's just going to be in that rotation.
Yeah, I mean honestly, it's just kind of weird because if you sign Chase Claypool, you didn't fix the problem. The problem is you don't have a wide receiver one. So if you just sign Claypool, there's no problem fixing there. You just did something to try and, to be quite honest, put a bandage on a wound that needs stitches. That's all it needs. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But I mean,
if I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm praying to the football gods every day from now until April that some way, somehow, Marvin Harrison Jr. falls into your lap. By the grace of a higher power.
If Marvin Harrison Jr. fell into the Chiefs' lap, I think that would just be the absolute Super Bowl lock of the century.
I think you can officially say the NFL is scripted.
Yeah. I don't know. Hey, either way, we got the power of Taylor Swift now, apparently. So I guess I'll take that as it's something. It's something. All right, well, again, before we go to this next cut, I want you to, again, use hashtag Chiefs on any type of question you have. By the way, Terry, I actually kind of like your little give Ross the snaps more. If you could put hashtag Chiefs on that and just talk about Justin Ross, we can put you on the show as well because I really want to talk about Justin Ross. That guy's so under-freaking-used.
Shout out to Brad Richardson, Jackson Boswell, Tony Fuentes. Those are the people who have sent in questions so far. Those are definitely 3 people that will be in the mailbag. So if you want to get in, you know the drill.
Hashtag Chiefs. You're going to get your name up there. You're going to get your little profile photo up there. We're going to answer your question live here on the Chiefs Report. But for now, let's get into the Chiefs versus Vikings preview. Let's get that going right now. You're good. What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Happy you chose the Chiefs Report on today. And before we get going, we know what's happening today. We're talking about the Chiefs versus the Vikings. And before I get into anything, I want you to predict the score right now because I'm going to tell you a lot about the Vikings. I'm going to tell you a lot about the Chiefs, and I'm going to give you my score prediction. But before I give you mine, I want you to give me yours. Get in the chat right now and give me your score prediction for the Chiefs versus Vikings. And on top of that, make sure you join our Chiefs versus Vikings watch party. We're going to be live this Sunday. Game's at 3:25. We're going to be live around 2:45, 2:50 area. Come make sure you join us. We're going to be having fun all day long. And it's going to be a good time, so make sure you're a part of it. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, welcome in. My name is Jay Sanders, and you're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. Let's go right into it. The Week 5 opponent for the Chiefs is the Minnesota Vikings, and let's kind of dive into what they have gone through this season, as they started out 0-3 with losses to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Los Angeles Chargers. Not too good. The offense is carried by the NFL's leading receiver, Justin Jefferson, and on top of which, they're third in passing yards through Week 4 at just over 1,000. So this offense, it seems to be pretty good. But overall, they just haven't really gotten the dub every time. The defense, I'm not going to say it's bad, but they haven't performed the way they could have throughout the entire season. And 0-3 start was not good. They get the win this past week against the Carolina Panthers to move to 1-3. And, well, that's their record as it sits right now. Head coach Kevin O'Connell, after really leading them to the promised land last year, getting them to the playoffs, and overall looking like an insanely good team, winning the NFC North, well, now they're third. They're just one game ahead of the Chicago Bears. The Bears suck, and you're just one game ahead of them. It just does not make sense. This team was a playoff team last year. They didn't really lose anybody besides Dalvin Cook. I mean, I know that's a huge loss, but Alexander Mattison, last year, when he came in for Cook, he looked pretty good. This year has not been the same. But we know the real guy on this offense we got to watch out for. Jay Jettis. That's the one guy. He had 2 touchdowns this past week against Carolina. He's been the NFL leading receiver, and he's going to be the main weapon for the Vikings all season long, all game long, and there's not really a clear way to stop him just yet. That's pretty shown by his stats. 2 touchdowns last week, 3 total in the season, and a league-leading 543 yards. It's just kind of crazy, the numbers he's putting up, and, you know, it's kind of crazy that he's this good and the freaking Vikings are 1-3, but maybe that's more in tune to the other key offensive players who haven't really performed the way they should have. Now, Kirk Cousins has looked pretty good. He was the 6th highest rated quarterback in Week 4, and yet they are 1-3. He's actually been a really high rated quarterback through the entirety of this season, yet somehow this offense just isn't clicking, and maybe that's because they don't have Dalvin Cook anymore. Now, I'm not going to crap on Alexander Mattison and say he's a bad running back. But at the same time, he's not Dalvin Cook, and he cannot catch a ball a lot of times, which kind of compare him to Isiah Pacheco and the way his season started. A little different here because Mattison, well, he started out with full carries. He was the guy, he was the one, and then slowly kind of lost those carries throughout the season. Pacheco, he's been the opposite. He kind of started out with a low amount of carries and has worked his way up. It was 8. And then it was 12, and then it was 15. This past week, he has 20, and they're really similar in stats. Over just 1 more carry for Mattison than Pacheco, 20 more yards for Pacheco, including 2 touchdowns. The average, just a little better for Pacheco. And then the receiving yards is a big thing because Alexander Mattison apparently does not know how to catch a ball anymore. I cannot tell you how many times I've turned on a Vikings game and seen him just drop a ball that hit him right in the hands. Pacheco, though, not a receiving back, and yet he had 48 yards receiving against the Jets. He's looked really good. These two are honestly really, really comparable. But there's also another running back you got to worry about because the Vikings made a trade. It was one of the biggest trades thus far in the season where the Vikings traded the Los Angeles Rams for Cam Akers. Now, talking kind of to some Vikings experts and kind of looking through what they've done, it's probably going to be a 60% Madison, 40% Cam Akers split here in this Chiefs versus Vikings games. And again, this trade's kind of funny because, like, the Rams got nothing, but Cam Akers had shown them nothing, so they just wanted to get rid of him. They got him to the Vikings, and who knows what could happen with him in the coming weeks, days, years, whatever you want to say. But that's another guy you're going to have to worry about. He has all the athletic intangibles. He just hasn't shown anything yet in the running game. All right, there's a little bit about the Vikings, so I'm going to give you a chance here. Type KC if you think the Chiefs are going to win this game. Type MIN if you think the Vikings will win this game. I want you to let me know in the chat today. Type KC, type MIN. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video, so make sure you get in there and let me know what you got in this upcoming game. Let's kind of go into the keys to victory for the Chiefs, and that starts with Pacheco. You got to let him loose, and you got to do it early because overall, it's kind of funny. Pacheco was underused, and I still kind of think they underused him in the second half of the Jets game. When you had a really good game, 20 carries, 115 yards, and you were up late in that game, give him the rock every single time, and I think they should do that early and often. 20 carries, 115 yards, and he finished with 158, the most all-purpose yards he's had in his entire career. You gotta let Pacheco go here in the early part of the game. All right, I want to give a huge shout-out to today's show sponsor, and that is Game Time. Now, Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. You shouldn't have to worry about buying tickets to your next big event, and Game Time gives you the peace of mind when buying tickets at their best price guarantee. Game Time will take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Now, some of the cool things about Game Time, well, the last-minute ticket deals, the flash deals, the zone deals. There are deals out the wazoo with Game Time. You're always going to get the best price. And a really cool thing that you don't get from most other ticket buying apps, well, it's the little picture. You get a 360 view of your seat. You're basically getting to see exactly what you're going to see when you get to the actual event. It's a really cool feature, and it's a nice way to kind of show you exactly what you are getting when you go to that next event. Now, Game Time is obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account. Use code ChiefsChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHIEFSCHAT, ChiefsChat, for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets at the lowest price guarantee. All right, let's go into our second key to victory for the Chiefs this Sunday, and that's going to be holding Justin Jefferson in check. Now, who does that fall on to? Does it fall on to the linebackers, the safeties? No, it falls on the cornerbacks. And here's the cornerback room. You got Trent McDuffie, you got Jalen Watson, and you got L'Jarius Sneed. Now, Jalen Watson was injured, has been injured, and he did not play in the Jets game. The hope is to have him back this upcoming weekend against the Vikings, but we'll have to see if that comes to fruition, if he misses practice. We're going to find out in the coming days whether or not he will be available or not. In his replace, it could be Nick Jones, or we saw a lot of Joshua Williams as well this past Sunday against the Jets. That's going to fall on them. They held Garrett Wilson to yardage-wise pretty well, but lots of targets, lots of receptions for him. Justin Jefferson is going to be a little bit harder to contain than Garrett Wilson. The fourth, or rather third, key to victory is a bounce-back game for Mahomes. I'm not going to shy away from it. Mahomes did not look good against the Jets. He didn't. He actually, in fact, looked bad because he got outplayed by Zach Wilson. Now, Zach Wilson, shout out to him. He had an absolutely incredible game. He played insanely well. I honestly couldn't believe how well he played. Now, on Mahomes' side, it's the third time he has had multiple interceptions in the past two seasons. That's not that much, but at the same time, you'd like that to be low. Now, he still has the fourth best QBR in the NFL at 71.5, but I'd like that to be more and kind of gain velocity, maybe make him that number one QBR in the entire league, because we know he's the best quarterback. He's just got to go out there and prove it. Bounce back game from Mahomes this Sunday. Make sure you are subscribed to the Chiefs Report. We are going to be having a live watch party for the Chiefs versus Vikings this upcoming Sunday. Make sure you're a part of that, and why not subscribe? Turn on the notifications to make sure you never miss a video, and on top of which, when we go live, you are going to get a 30-minute little ding on your phone basically saying, hey, the Chiefs Report's about to go live. Make sure you are subscribed. Do it today. All right, the fourth and final key to victory is you got to hold the Vikings to under 21 points. Now, that may seem like an easy task for this Chiefs defense because so far they've been the only team in the NFL to hold teams under 17 points per game. Well, let's hope it continues because the Vikings offense, I've said it, they've been playing well. They just haven't been winning games with it. Now, 22.5 points per game, that's not anything that you can't get away from. Now, 15 points per game being allowed, that is really dang good. The most points that this Chiefs defense has given up, well, technically it came this past Sunday when he gave up 20 to the New York Jets because against the Vikings, against the Lions, they only gave up 14 of the 21 points, the other 7 coming on again, the pick 6. All right, I told you at the beginning of the show to give me your score prediction. I'm going to ask it again one last time. If you haven't put it in, I want you to get in the comments and type your score prediction for the Chiefs versus the Vikings. I'm going to give you mine right now as, honestly, I think the Chiefs win this one. It's just by about how much? I'm thinking they're going to win by around 18 points. I'm expecting a 28-10 performance because I think if you could control Justin Jefferson throughout the entire game, well, then guess what? You control this Vikings offense. And with Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed probably going to be switching off depending on who's in the slot, who's on the outside, going around with that, we'll have to kind of see. I think they can hold them in check, and hopefully hold this Vikings offense in check as a whole. 28-10 is my score prediction. Was it close to yours? Was it off yours? Did you predict the Vikings to win, which would be absolutely insane? I don't know, but I think the Chiefs got this one in the bag, even though it's on the road. And hey, you got two guys who are both pretty good quarterbacks. It'll be a fun matchup. Again, make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/ChiefsTV, and like the video. It shows support to us. It's the easy way. It's free. And on top of which, it just takes 1 second. Make sure you click that like button today. All right, who you got? Type KC for Kansas City and type MIN for Minnesota. Let me know. Please tell me Swift won't be there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Tony Fuentes has KC 26, Minnesota 10. Boomer Miller, what's up, Boomer? Glad you're back here. 28-10 Chiefs. Man, similar to mine, bro. Similar to mine. Brad Richardson says KC. What you got? Let me know. KC or MIN. Do you have the Chiefs? Do you have the Vikings? Well, I can't know unless you put it in the chat. Make sure you're spamming KC because it's going to help us out. Thoughts on Berrios, says Brad Richardson. Well, I think he's good, but I don't think the Dolphins are going to trade Berrios because he's the third wide receiver in that group with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I don't really know why they would give him up, especially for a team that they're going to be competing against in the near future with the Chiefs. So it just doesn't make sense that they would trade him to the Chiefs. I think he's a good guy, but overall it's kind of tough. Chiefs organization can no longer deny this team needs Mahomes, a veteran. Yeah, they need a lot, bro. I don't think they need a lot, but they need to do something else besides having Kadarius Toney as your wide receiver one. It's just been a little tough going for that, but man, we'll have to see. Coming up, Sunday matchup. We're going to be live again. Make sure you are joining us for our live watch parties. They go live about 30, 40 minutes before kickoff, and we want to have a party here, so make sure you're joining. We're going to have drinking. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a scoreboard, play-by-play, whatever you want. We're going to have it all right here on the Chiefs Sport, so make sure you're subscribed. You're going to get notifications for that as well. And by the way, we got some time here. Come on, use hashtag Chiefs. We don't have many questions just yet, and basically, I can almost guarantee if you use hashtag Chiefs right now, we're about to go into our mailbag, so this is your last chance to get in with your questions. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get your question answered live on air. This is your last chance. Again, any question you have, just use hashtag Chiefs ahead of it. Because if you use hashtag Chiefs ahead of it, we're not only going to be able to throw up your picture, we're going to throw up your question, we're going to answer your question, you're going to be on today's live show, and you are going to be on a future video this upcoming on the Chiefs Report here. So you're going to be all over us if you want to be on the show. Again, use hashtag Chiefs. It's your last shot to get in here. So we'll give you a couple seconds, but let me know if there's any questions you have.
As of now, the mailbag is going to be the Brad, Tony, and Jackson show.
Yeah, it's not Maddox. You need to use hashtag Chiefs at the front of your question.
No, you can use it on the back too.
Oh, okay.
It works either way.
Then he's got it.
You'll be in there, Maddox.
There you
or
go.
It's not Maddox, I should say. So whoever you are, because it's not Maddox.
It's not Maddox. So then what is it? So, okay, again, last chance here, hashtag Chiefs to get a part of the Chiefs mailbag. Give you a couple seconds here, but again, we'll put you on the screen. We'll answer your question here live on the Chiefs Report.
If you have a chance to...
All right, that's the way, JJ. There you go.
Hey!
$2 super chat.
We just got to show him now.
Yeah, put it
I'll
up
tell
there.
you what, JJ, because he's the first super chat of the day, he skips the line. He's going to be the very first question on the mailbag.
Way to go, JJ. What a legend.
Shout out
in the
to
chat.
JJ, sending in the super chat. So the Chiefs trade for Hardman. What do you think? McCole Hardman, get him back?
Yeah.
Bring him back to Kansas City?
Well, it's funny because he sucks on the Jets, which just shows how good Mahomes is at making freaking wide receivers.
I was going to say, I mean, at this point, it almost makes sense because you're going to be paying him maybe a little less. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pay him a little less.
You can at least give yourself the chance to restructure him and be like, hey, you weren't good last year. You're not going to make this money here unless you're willing to be a little flexible. At that point, he's got to realize that every ounce of success in his professional career has come with number 15 as his quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he has looked absolutely terrible with Zach Wilson, by the way. Listen, no offense if your name is Zach and it's spelled with C-H. It's a B-Z-K, C-K. I just don't understand the Z-A-C-H. It's Zach, not Zach. Anyway, whatever. Appreciate you, JJ. You're going to be the first question on today's mailbag, which we're about to get into, as we've got a bunch, well, not a bunch, but some questions. So I think we're going to start getting going here in just a second. Last chance, hashtag Chiefs in front or in back, just somewhere in there. And we can put your question on the screen, but you can still do it while we're on there, and I'm sure Sam will put it up.
Don Bulls, I see your question in there. You have to use the hashtag Chiefs to get on the show. So here, I'll put it on the screen again here so everyone can see it.
Shout out to you, JJ, by the way.
Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. JJ's going to be the first question. Shout out to JJ. So, Don, if you want to get that question in there, all you have to do is put the hashtag Chiefs in front of it. It goes into our server. It's not me who grabs these and makes them off the bat. We have to rely on technology a little bit, and in 2023, that's never always a great sign.
No.
See, Tony Fuentes has got it right there,
got it.
Don. He's got hashtag Chiefs. We need to do better wide receiver, which, true.
Yeah. Don, if you want to put it in, you can just do that. I mean, I'll literally just copy that same message and use hashtag Chiefs. That's all you got to do. We'll give you a quick second here as we're about to get into this mailbag. Appreciate everybody who has sent in questions already, and a shout out to JJ as well. Well, speaking of which, we have some time. I told him Super Chats I do lime juice. You want to go grab that and give him a little time?
What's that?
I told him I'd do lime juice for a Super Chat.
Yes, you did. All right, let's do
go
it.
Get one.
Don is in there. Don, your question's going to be in the mix.
Shout out, Don. All right. Well, while Sam gets the lime juice, you have a little bit of time. Again, if you want to get in your question, use hashtag Chiefs, and then your question or hashtag Chiefs at the end. And there we go on what kind of I can get it. JJ Hack, and we're going to get some lime juice for you. Last little chance to get in here. Use hashtag Chiefs, and we're going to put you on the show here. We're about to go into it, and we will pop you on the screen throughout this entire cut. And on top of which, if you see a question on there that sparks another question, put it in the chat again. Producer Sam can throw you in there even after we've already started it. So just keep using it, and we're going to put your question on screen for now. We got a little bit of time with getting the lime juice going, so. Did you get lemon juice? Why'd you get lemon juice this time? I don't know if that's worse or better.
So I couldn't find any lime juice in the fridge, and the options were either warm lime juice or cold lemon juice. I thought cold lemon juice would be the better option.
Yeah, warm lime juice.
I was going to say, I think I was right there.
Yeah. That's true. All right, well, JJ Hackett, this is for you, my guy. I appreciate it. I haven't done lemon. I wonder if it's worse or better. Kind of the same. Not good. All right, I think we got enough questions now. Give me a second to get the lemon juice out of my mouth. Okay. Ready? Yeah. All right, we're going to dive into your questions right now on the mailbag. So here it comes. Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom. My name is Jay Sanders. You're watching the Chiefs Report. And today we're going to be talking, or rather answering, your questions. And let's start off with my man, J.J. Hackett, with a $2 super chat who said, the Chiefs should trade for Hardman, Mecole Hardman. I think they should too. The Jets kind of stink, and overall, Patrick Mahomes made Mecole Hardman look like an all-pro sometimes. I think overall, it wouldn't be a bad idea. You're going to pay him substantially less than what you were paying him. It's not a bad idea to explore the trade. I don't know how likely it would be for the Jets to trade him away back to the team that they got him from. But at the same time, I think it's kind of funny because it's obvious the Jets aren't using him. He stinks with them. So why not give him back to the Chiefs? It'd be kind of funny. Shout out to you, JJ. Really appreciate the question on if the Chiefs should trade for Mecole Hardman. Next question comes in from Jackson Boswell. He says, I don't think it's crazy to give up 2 first-round picks and a second rounder, and maybe a bit more for Justin Jefferson. If you're going to pay for someone, pay him. Yeah, I agree. I think overall that would not be that crazy to give up a couple of first-round picks and a second rounder, especially for the simple fact that he is worth like number 1 overall pick potential. Like that's kind of what he's worth at this point. The only problem is I don't know if the Vikings are going to trade him, at least during the season. It may be in the offseason, but I don't know about now. I think overall, Chiefs beat the Vikings this upcoming Sunday. Well, that may change the mind because guess what? Then the Vikings are 1-4. They've already talked about the potential of trading Kirk Cousins. Trade your wide receiver on top of that. Chiefs could be in line. The problem is the money, and that's kind of the thing with trades, as you're going to have to create cap space somewhere. You're going to have to cut somebody. It'd be kind of tough, but it would be a cool option to see the Chiefs trade for Justin Jefferson. All right, the next question coming in here from Tony Fuentes. Shout out, Tony, saying, I'm impressed of the Chiefs wide receiver group, but they need to step up, and we need a true wide receiver 1, I believe is what you're kind of referencing. Yeah, I agree. I think overall, there's just not a clear number 1 wide receiver on this Chiefs staff. You have Kadarius Toney, who now, if you look at the depth chart, he's not even on the top 3. You have Marquez Valdes-Scantling, you have Sky Moore, and you have Rashee Rice. And overall, I thought Sky Moore was going to be the guy who was going to be the one to maybe be the wide receiver 1. But at this point, I'd almost say it's Rashee Rice who has the better opportunity. He's looked impressive. If he could just cut down on the drops, he could really have a good chance to possibly up himself on the wide receiver depth chart to maybe 2, maybe 1. We'll have to see, but I agree. There's not a true wide receiver 1 right now on the Kansas City Chiefs. The next question here comes in from Chloe15, as she says, or he's saying, are the Chiefs ever just going to trade Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't understand it even more now for the simple fact that guess what? You know Isiah Pacheco is good. You've seen that. He's proven it time and time again, and he just had his best game of his career when they gave him the opportunities. 20 carries, over 100 yards, 158 yards total. That was a career high. Dude looked impressive on top of a 48-yard touchdown run. You don't need Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They, in fact, used him more than McKinnon, it seems like, which is kind of silly because McKinnon, he's been your passing down back. He didn't even catch a single pass against the Jets. Kind of crazy. Let me know from you, should the Chiefs trade away Clyde Edwards-Helaire type T for trade or type key for keep? I don't really freaking know, man. It just doesn't make sense because if you're going to use him in the proper way. And if you're not, then trade him away. And at the same time, I don't think he's useful, so just give him up. Pacheco's fine. You'll be fine. All right, let's go to another question here, as this one is coming from Brad Richardson, saying, what you think on another defensive tackle like Jordan Davis? Well, I think it'd be nice to get another defensive tackle, but I think this defensive line has showed you that you don't really need another defensive tackle. Now, Jordan Davis obviously would be incredible, but you don't need it. This defense has been absolutely incredible. It's been the top defense in terms of holding teams to points per game. They've overall just shown time and time again that we really undervalued the defense. I got to be honest. At the beginning of the season, I'm going to be the first one to say it. I thought they weren't going to be top 25 without Chris Jones. That first game, they may have been the 3rd, 4th, 5th best defense in the entire NFL. Then they got Chris Jones back, and I'd argue to say right now, I'd put my name down on it. They may be number 2 or number 1 in the dang NFL. I'll put a signed letter on that. I think they're really good. I don't know that another defensive tackle would even help them at this point because I like the chemistry that they have with Dana, with Karlaftis, with freaking Chris Jones. Overall, it's just a good mix. This question coming in from It's Not Maddox saying, what wide receiver do you want? I appreciate you asking my opinion. It's not. Well, I kind of think overall, I would like to see the Chiefs go out and grab Jerry Jeudy. The Denver Broncos have already mentioned that he's on the trading block. And again, I think he has a similar type to a lot of receivers in the league you're seeing today that have come to the Chiefs and maybe either resurrected their careers or they've come to the Chiefs and made their careers what it is today. That was just like kind of McCole Hardman. The reason he got even a contract with the Jets was because of the Chiefs. Jerry Jeudy is the same way. He has all the intangibles for a number 1 wide receiver, and he has speed, which we know Patrick Mahomes loves to use. I think it'd be a nice job, but thank you. It's Not Maddox. Do you have an opinion? Well, let me know. All right, like the video if you want the Chiefs to beat the Vikings in this upcoming Sunday matchup, as we appreciate it. Just hit that little thumbs up button. That way we know you want the Chiefs to win this upcoming Sunday. Before we get into more of your questions, I got to tell you about our sportsbook partner, BetUS, who is offering a nice 125% deposit bonus when you use chatsports.com/ChiefsBet and use the promo code Chiefs125. Again, you're going to get a 125% deposit bonus. It's free money. Go take it. It's basically like you're getting an extra and a little bit more. You're doing a lot of work there. Again, chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Chiefs125 is the promo code. And why don't you do it on the Chiefs this week? 5.5 favorites over the Vikings. And I like that line because overall, this Chiefs defense has absolutely been really mind-boggling good. And that's the only way to put it. Now, they do have a tough challenge with Justin Jefferson, but I expect Patrick Mahomes to have a better day on offense. 5.5 is a good line. Again, use promo code Chiefs125 and go to chatsports.com/ChiefsBet for your 125% deposit on BetUS. All right, this next question is coming in from Raja Cooper saying, what wide receiver could we trade for realistically? Yeah, I think you got me there. Realistically, I don't know if there's not many options out there in terms of value because the Chiefs don't have cap space. They don't. They, in fact, barely had some when Chris Jones was not here. Then Chris Jones got out of back, and they had to restructure Joe Thuney's contract to even have Chris Jones's contract in the mix. Overall, the only option to me it sounds sucky, but it's Chase Claypool. That's kind of the only option, which I don't know is necessarily a boost. I think it's just going in a lateral direction. It's tough with the cap space. I think there's ways you could work out with a couple of guys in this offseason, and potentially through the season, you just have to be willing to cut some people. And I don't know if Brett Veach is willing to cut people at this current moment with the way the Chiefs team is performing. Let's go to this next question from Shad Jameson saying, should Kansas City re-sign Donovan Smith next season? I think so. I think overall, he's been better than Jeudy Taylor. I'll freaking tell you that. I cannot stand Jeudy Taylor. As again, overall, he's been okay, but Jeudy just freaking penalties all the time. I think they should sign Donovan Smith. They had the 1-year contract. Pretty cheap. $3 million. That's not that bad. I think you could probably do that. Maybe go 4 next year if you have the space for it. It's pretty cheap. He's played pretty well. He has had a couple of holding calls, but I mean that's an offensive line. It's just going to happen. So I think overall they could definitely re-sign Donovan Smith. All right, this next question, Random Swifty says, do you think the Chiefs are actually interested in Jonathan Taylor? Yes. I think they are actually interested just because of the numbers. I mean, you can't not be interested in a guy who has had over 3,000, almost 4,000 yards in his career, and he's only played in 3 seasons. I just don't think you cannot be interested in that. Now, do I think the Chiefs are actually going to pursue that? And even if they do, are they going to have the assets that the Colts would want? Not a freaking chance, man. I just don't see it happening. And on top of which, you have Pacheco. It's not really a use for Jonathan Taylor, especially with the money. It just doesn't make sense. This next question comes in from Don Bull. Shout out to you, Don. Appreciate it. What is the cause of Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Tony? They are not producing on the field. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is specifically coaching. The only reason he is on the field is because Patrick Mahomes and the coaches seem to like him. He's just not that good, I think, overall. I think it's a tough realization you have to come from, but he's a bust. I think it is. We're past the point where we've had time to see if he could be a potential top-tier running back in this league or even second string. And I don't think he's shown either of that because he's a third string right now with Isiah Pacheco, who was a late-round pick last year. That's already above him. And Jerick McKinnon. I don't really know what's going on with him. Kadarius Toney has been injured. I'll kind of give him a bye there. I think he has, again, all the essentials to get out there and perform. He's just not doing it right now. We'll have to see over time if either of these two work out in the future for the Chiefs. But for right now, I agree. They're not producing at all. Another question coming from Tony. Appreciate you, Fuentes. Which wide receiver does the Chiefs need to trade for? It's a must-need. Most players can step up and fill in the field. Not saying but we need someone to step up like Juju. Yeah, I see the problem was Juju really wasn't even wide receiver 1 last year. Like, yeah, I know he kind of was, But at the same time, he really wasn't at the same time. It was a wide receiver by committee, which is what's happening this year again. Now, Juju performed well, but the dude is with the Patriots, and apparently his knee could explode at any second. So the freaking Chiefs, they made a right decision by not signing him. The dude's one step away from ending his career. You don't want to sign that to your team, especially when he didn't really add too much value. I don't know. There's not really a necessary fix to this wide receiver one problem. I think it's going to be something we're talking about all year. And we'll see if Brett Veach actually decides to make a move on it, or if he just kind of lets it go. And Chiefs are already 4-1. Hopefully it can be 4-1. That's just the hope. All right, this question's coming in from Blake saying, should the Chiefs trade for Tyler Boyd of the Bengals if they want too much for Higgins? I like that. I kind of like that because I'm not going to say he's a wide receiver one, but he provides more depth to this wide receiver room, especially if the Bengals are asking too much for Higgins. It just doesn't really make sense overall. And they're both, again, on their last year. So you could sign them in the offseason, but Tyler Boyd, guess what? They're going to be more likely to trade him because there's not really a clear shot that they're going to get him back next year, but he's been more of a staple piece on that Cincinnati Bengals team than T has been. That's the only thing I could look at. But who knows? It's a shot. I think it's definitely time to kind of consider both those guys. All right, this question's coming in from Taylor Wilson saying, when do the coaches admit it they were wrong and sit Sky Moore and MVS and play Justin Ross and Rashee Rice? Moore sucks. MVS is overpaid for nothing. So I see exactly what you're saying with Justin Ross. I don't know why in the world they're not playing him. I don't. It kind of makes no sense. Because at the beginning of the year, Andy Reid said, I have packages for every single one of these guys on the field, all 7 wide receivers, which Richie James is now not even there, so that makes it 6. It just doesn't make any sense. Rashee Rice is actually getting more and more involved with the offense every single game. He was a 50% snap count usage in the 2 weeks ago as they took on the Bears. He was 47% snap count against the Jets. So, overall, he's increasing his percentage every week. But the problem with Rashee is he just really needs to kind of cut down on the drops. That's been the tough part. He drops a lot of balls. If he could step with that, I think overall he'd be pretty good. I want to see Justin Ross more. I'm right there with you, Taylor. There's no reason why they can't use him. It just makes no sense. All right. Should the Chiefs trade away Clyde Edwards-Helaire? I don't know what they're doing with him at this point. It doesn't make sense. Does it? I just don't get it. Why in the world are you? What's the point of keeping him? What's the point of keeping him? It just. Tony Fuentes says T for trade. Creek says K for keep. Creek, you gotta is there an opinion on that? Afwan, what's going on, man? Saw you at our watch party last Sunday. Last Sunday, it was 2 days ago. Shout out Afwan, man. What's up going on? T, I believe he will do better with someone else. I agree, Don Bowles. I kind of think that at this point, he needs a reset as much as the Chiefs do from him. Because he could be a pretty good running back. He's just not going to be it with the Chiefs. It doesn't really make sense why they've kept him, especially when you've shown time and time again Pacheco is the clear number one. And this Sunday proved it to the utmost degree that Pacheco is obviously the number one running back on this team. And then behind him, it should be Jerick McKinnon. I don't know why Clyde is stealing reps away from him. Jerick catches passes. I don't get it. When he's the guy who has caught the most receiving touchdowns from a running back since week 13 of last year, and you're not using him as the receiving down back every now and then, or even in freaking second downs. I don't care. Long distances, use him. Creek K, I think he will have a bright future, but he just needs to work harder. Yeah, see, I get that, but at the same time, we've had Clyde Edwards-Helaire for so long at this point. When is it going to change? Especially, I totally get it. He will be better in the future. I totally agree. He will be a pretty good running back somewhere, some point in his career. But the problem is, how long are the Chiefs willing to wait? His value is just going to keep dropping if you don't use him. I think they're trying to use him to maybe get some value back with him, but it's not really working. I don't know, man. Paul Amos T, Don Bowles. Chicago could use CEH. I think Chicago could use about anything right now. I think they could use a new head coach. I think they could use a new, maybe front office. They are down bad at Soldier Field. They are down very, very bad. Oh, it's tough. Brian Birch says T for trade. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Really appreciate all y'all joining in. And, yeah, I just don't know what they're going to do with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's kind of tough. Paul Hannon says T for trade. I agree. I think it's time. There's not much you can do with him anymore. Give it up. Give it up. It's time for him to go. It's time because you've tried long enough. You've given him this chance. Give it up. Give it up. All right, we really appreciate every single one of you who have tuned in to today's Chiefs Sport live stream. We're doing this every single week, Tuesdays at 3 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Make sure you're tuned in as we're going to be talking Chiefs. We're going to be talking trade talks. We're going to be talking about previews. We're going to talk about pretty much everything Chiefs all season long. Subscribe today if you're not already, as we're going to be putting out a video literally today and tomorrow and the next day. You're going to get videos all week long leading up to our watch party on Sunday, which, again, make sure you are a part of. Me will be there. I will be there. And producer Sam. So if you like Sam.
Let's go.
If you like Sam, come back. And if you don't like Sam, come back. I don't really care. Just
come back for Jace.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Come back for more lemon juice shots. Oh, let me know. Do y'all like lemon juice shots better or lime juice? It's still freaking. This one you can see it's lemon better, though. Do y'all like lemon juice or lime juice shots better? Maybe that'll be a question on the watch party.
Is there a third option?
We can do creamer shots.
I've done a creamer shot before.
You have.
We did the Mitch and I, F the Raiders. We did the one chip challenge together. We split the chip. And so I did. We were trying everything that we could find.
That was you. I watched. Yeah. Okay.
We were trying to find everything that we could find in the office, and one of them was a shot of creamer. We also played a game to see who was allowed to drink milk first.
What was the game?
It was a little craggy games, the little loop that we have, a little ring toss.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch won because he plays every week. Cheater.
Well, we'll have a couple options. Maybe we'll let you all vote this upcoming Sunday. Af wants this lime juice. That is a staple here in the Chiefs is lime juice. But maybe that'll be a poll. We'll make that the pin poll at the watch party. What should be the likes drink of choice for this week against the Vikings? Is there any Minnesota type things we could do? I just don't know. There's not much Oh yeah. You like that? I can do that. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
The Kirk Cousins chain look, I think, completes.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's your style right there.
Oh, that would be. All right. Well, again, we appreciate all y'all tuning in as we're going to cut it for today's live show. We really appreciate you. Again, make sure you're subscribed, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Or there's going to be that little red subscribe button. If it's red, that means you're not subscribed. So touch that thing, and guess what? You're going to be automatically subscribed. You're going to get videos from us every single day. Really appreciate every single one of you again. And JJ, shout out to you, my guy. Super chat. We appreciate it. Peace out.